Hey guys, you might be wondering what I'm doing. Well, actually, I'm about to release a new game, and if you're releasing a game, it means you have to polish everything. That's what I've been told, so every time I release a new game, I'm polishing everything. Maybe I should just be polishing the game. Can't hurt. I'm polishing everything. After the intro, I'll talk about all the polishing I'm doing. Well, not all the polishing, just about the game polishing. Cool. I'll be right back. Hey, I'm Pascal from Orange Pixel, and this week I've been in the polishing phase of Space Grunts 2. What does it mean? That's a good question. It actually means that I'm nearing a release version, a first release version, and I want to make sure everything in the game is polished. So buttons are drawn correctly, text is centered correctly, everything has a great screen and an interface, and graphics are improved here and there, and sound effects, and all those things I've been doing this week. Not a lot of new content to the game, and polishing is important. That just gives a sense of more quality to a game than having it unpolished. So let's talk about a couple of categories of polish, because there's different type of polishing you can do to a game, and we're gonna talk about those 3 types of polishing.
Oh, this is exciting.
Alright, the first type of polish you can do is obviously improve your graphics or tinker with the graphics here and there. The first thing I did this week was made the characters have a color-coded t-shirt, and I kinda borrowed the color coding from Star Trek. So now we have the strong guy has a red shirt, the captain figure has a orange shirt, and the science officer, the gadget guy, girl, it's a girl, sorry. The gadget person has a blue shirt, which is, besides being very colorful, it's also gives a little distinct feeling to the kind of character you're playing with. So that's just a small thing I did on the graphic side. I've done a bunch of little things here and there, but I also improved the sound. For example, the little screech or the little effect that aliens made when you killed them got lost in the overpowering sound effects of the cards being played. So if you had a gun, you played the gun sound was there, but the splat of the alien wasn't really hearable. And for a long time I was searching for the bug why this sound wasn't being played, until I came to the conclusion it was played, but you just didn't hear it. So I replaced that sound effect with something very different, a little squeal of these little aliens, and that's much more noticeable and adds a lot to just killing an alien. Sorry if you're an alien, but sound effects matter. Besides that sound effect, I also added some of the ambient sounds to the background noise. I did this in Space Grunts 1, and I just kind of reused those sound effects because they fit very much with this game as well. And they make players from the original Space Grunts feel right at home. So it's a win-win situation. So that's graphics and audio polishing. What more polishing do we need? Well, polishing in a way of just improving a bunch of stuff. Basically, I noticed that the menu screen wasn't really centered on the screen at all. So I just moved it a little bit to the left or to the right. I just moved it a little bit, and now it's centered correctly. The buttons were it was just text being rendered, and if you pressed it, it would turn orange, but it wasn't really a button. So right now there's like very clear button areas, and I also completely redesigned the whole menu setup. It was just very navigational wise not very clear, so I completely rearranged all those things, and we now have a much clearer and quicker navigation. If you are interested in the statistics or the leaderboards, that's just one button away, and if you need to change or tweak options in the settings, that's just another button away. I also gave the continue game its own screen because it was just a menu option, and now it's actually a complete screen where you get information on this current game that's still saved, and you can decide on continuing that one or starting a new game. Bringing us to the third and final way of polishing a game, or at least for this video, That's adding features. And with these features, I mean things I've been adding are the statistics screen, where you can just see how often you've played, how many hours you played the game, things like that. It's not really required to have that in a game, but for people who really love your game, that's gonna make a lot of difference and adds a lot of quality to your game. Again, that's why you're polishing things like this. Besides that, I also added a credit screen, even if it's just to tell people that I made it. But of course there's also Gavin who made the music, and I'm using sound effects from certain people and libraries I used. So there's a bunch of credits in the game right now, and that just adds another layer of polish, and it's not required, but it does add more content to the game, and it's fairly easy to make because all these things I've just mentioned and a bunch more is what I've did in the last 3 days. It's just a lot of all that stuff is in the game, it just needs to be shown on screen in a nice way. Which brings us to the biggest thing I've been adding this week, and that's the leaderboards. Luckily for me, I've been able to copy almost all of that code from the original Space Grunts and just made it a little prettier on screen, and it worked, which saved me a lot of time. Because there was one little thing with these leaderboards, I'm not keeping track of your score. So what I wanted to have in the leaderboards is, well, obviously your name, but also the level you reached, the maximum level, and the time you played. The problem is I'm using the standard solution of leaderboards. So on Steam it's their version, on Google Play, and on the App Store it's the Apple Game Center. Problem is that they can only store one value. So you have a name and a score. And I need a little bit more information. Again, luckily I figured this out in Space Grunts 1. I'm actually encoding all that information in a single value. So if you look at the actual leaderboards on Game Center or on the Steam or Google Play versions of these leaderboards, there will be like very big weird numbers. And I decode those numbers because they contain the information of how many hours somebody played, their class, which character did they use, and of course which level did they reach. So what I do is pretty simple, you just have to figure it out once, and I'll show you the code for it on screen right now. These couple of lines basically encode all the information I want, and then they upload that as a single digit or a single high score to these various leaderboards. And basically that saved me from having to create my own leaderboard or high score servers, because I don't want to run all that stuff. So this is the best and easiest way to do it.
It's totally lazy.
So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been polishing the game, making it ready for release, and that's gonna be in just a few weeks from now, at least on the iPhone. I've got some news about all those things, but I can't really talk about it just yet. Soon. If you have any questions about polishing or whatever I just mentioned in the video, let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody. And we're gonna do some comments on last week's video. Last week I talked about... Last week I talked about the aliens and the source code and what drives them through the world, and of course the whole Matrix type intro I did. Let's see what you guys had to say. Arcore, I'm 43 seconds in the intro and I'm loving it already. You nailed this. Thanks, that's a good thing, and I'm glad people actually enjoyed the intro I did last week. It took me about 3 hours to get everything recorded and then cut, and but I enjoy doing these things. So, Piotr Kroki, you're doing such a great videos, and I cannot believe you have such a small number of viewers. Great work, it made me... Yeah, about the viewers, I know there are a lot of other developers who have more viewers already on their YouTube channel. I'm kind of happy with just having 300-400 views per week. And it's growing very steadily, so I'm very happy. And if it grows very high and very big, I might have to take all this serious. And I don't want to take it serious, I just want to have fun and do funny videos and things like that every week. Ivan from Russia, I guess. Just a wild guess. Awesome intro, didn't even know your awesome games were made by one person. Yeah, actually, thanks for subscribing. And yes, I make the games, I draw the games, come up with the ideas for the games, and then Gavin does the music, but he's a freelancer, so he does music for a lot of games, and you should check out his music and the games he works for. But basically one guy doing it all and actually doing videos, and I need a break. I need vacation. Island Games. It's a very good and funny video, and I was surprised by how good the acting was. Well, it's not that good, but thanks. The little story was very funny. Enjoyed the intro a lot. Thanks. And the other guys are also saying, Marvin, awesome intro, good shit, nice fit. I'm really happy you guys like the intro, and whenever I have an idea like that, I'm gonna do funny intros. So subscribe and get used to things like that. And that's it for this week's video, because I still have a bit of polishing to do. And then I want to create a bit more content for the game. So yeah, see you next week. Bye, thanks for watching.